Hi, this is Pat Fraley, purveyor of Duck, Doug, and villain voices. And you're watching Altered Geek.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unlimited, episode 93. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me this week are the two mics.
Wait, which mic?
The ones that have the wrestling podcast together.
That's right.
Well, yeah.
Some unfortunate wrestling news today.
Yeah.
Among many other things.
Among many other things.
Yeah, we won't bore Steve with that. We'll talk about that on our show.
Yeah, so look for that next week or the week thereafter.
Unfortunately, there's been a lot of celebrity deaths today, or this week.
Yeah, it's been a bad week to be famous.
Yeah.
Poor Count Dooku. He
Just one with the Force.
Yeah.
Saruman the White now is gone. But hey, man, he's now immortal. If anybody, if that guy was the definitive Dracula.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, man. He made Hammer Horse so much more bitchin'. So, plus, if you guys look him up, he actually did a metal album where he sings about Charlemagne. It is so metal as, Vikings will kick down your door. That's how awesome it is.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, and apparently, and this is just according to my Facebook trending thing, apparently, Blanche from the Golden Girls, her death 5 years ago is now making news online. I haven't looked at it to see what it is that the news is.
What? It's weird. People tend to report deaths, or people don't realize people have died. There is someone, I can't remember who it was, but I'm like, that guy died 2 years ago. They're like, oh, I'm like, don't you check the dates on the articles that you put?
I mean,
I've been guilty of that too. So.
It happens more than you think with people not reading the article dates, because I know a lot of people that'll post something and I'm like, you realize that's 3 years ago, or Blanchard will post something and I'm like, we covered that on AGU a year ago.
Oh yeah.
But in my defense about something like that is, it just showed up in my timeline now.
Sometimes I just glance and don't realize.
Yeah. Well, certain stories, I forget which one it was that you said you guys talked about on Age. I think it was something to do with some Batman thing or something or other. That news had just shown up that day this year on my timeline. For some odd reason, somebody reshared it or redid something with it, and it looked like it was a new news article. Let's see, who else have we lost? What other kind of weird news?
There was another name that I saw today. Who's Ron Moody?
Oh, yeah. Good question. I'll have to look him up.
I feel like I should know it as a geek, but I'm not. I'm going to plead ignorance on this one. I honestly have no clue. The name does sound familiar.
I mean, I know of Ben Moody, but that's something completely different. He was a British actor known for his Golden Globe-winning and Oscar-nominated performance as Fagin in Oliver, and as the Wizard Merlin in Disney's A Kid in King Arthur's Court. Oh, he starred next to Thomas Ian Nicholas from American Pie in A Kid in King Arthur's Court. That's right. I remember this guy now.
We've lost 2 wizards today.
Yeah.
God damn it. We lost 2 wizards in the American Dream.
So what you're telling me is they don't have any power.
No.
No, they've only grown more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
But you cannot cheat death. It's nasty. I won't do it.
So yeah, it's been a hell of a day for that. But the world turns on. It's not all bad news today.
No.
Yes, as we often do. What's everybody been up to the last week?
Well, for me, I've been working on the Smithsonian superhero class. We're getting close to being done now. This week is the last week of the actual assignments. The actual final project is due on the 26th for being turned in. which is awesome. I created some characters. I've actually created almost an entire mythos and league of characters on both good and bad. And I posted my main ones for the project in the Facebook group for it. And the response to it is actually kind of funny because some of the people are like, I would totally love to see these two guys going at it, planning a first issue. Got it, because I got to see. And then people are like, oh, it's great design. Automatic fan here. Keep me updated. And then these are brilliant. I love the names, and it's kind of nice seeing that. But if I were any kind of an artist, I would go ahead and make them into actual comics. But
hey man, there might be some fan out there in the Geekcast radio world who may take an interest and just do it for you.
That would be awesome.
So artists out there, bug Steve. Might be something cool.
Yeah. In other news, though, the Michigan film incentives got canned.
So what? So explain that to me.
What it is the Michigan government, senators and congressmen and everything, decided that the film incentives were too costly, so they didn't want to spend money on it anymore, even though it was bringing jobs here, i.e. Batman vs. Superman and stuff like that. And in doing so, they were hiring people like myself that are in the media, learning how to edit, learning how to shoot the stuff. I mean, they were hiring people like us that are going to school for this. So now essentially it's meaning that if we're going to use the degree other than like a radio or a TV station, if we want to do film, we're going to have to move out of the state.
Well, maybe not necessarily, but it'll be 10 times harder to find work now.
They completely killed the film incentives here. So, there's no incentive for them, no tax deductions, no breaks, and as you all know, if you give tax breaks to something, it comes closer.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
doing that,
I guess if they want to film in Michigan, it's because they can't find anywhere else that looks like this or something.
The only thing about that is all 49 states besides Michigan now still has the incentive.
That's kind of stupid. I don't see why Michigan would shoot themselves in the foot like that.
Because the congressmen are people that have been in for 40 years and have no understanding of modern technology.
Which is kind of fucked up, because those people that are that old should really appreciate older movies and how much a good location can really matter to a film. So,
and I'll take, because I was in class Wednesday when they had the news, the local news come in and interview the teacher and one of my classmates, and then there was actual shots of footage, and I was in my, the side of me was in the shot, but while the teacher was talking. But when we take a break after we tell what's new, I'll throw that clip in there. But yeah, it's kind of messed up, because it's it's like saying, hey, thanks for getting a college education in Michigan. Fuck you, go somewhere else. I mean, that's
well, here California's nice. Well,
yeah.
So Blanchard, what's new with you, buddy?
Well, I hate to bring the show down, but
Eeyore.
What?
Said Eeyore. Anyway, go on.
Oh, Eeyore, yeah. Thanks for noticing me. So last month, my mom passed away. So I've been dealing with that and all that entails and everything else, and dealing with the dumbass government and dumbass lawyers who basically, apparently, once you die in the state of Massachusetts, you're no longer considered a person, so any lawsuits you have pending essentially just die with you. So I've been dealing with that. On a more positive note, I have found a new comic book series that is by far the best and most original thing I have ever read, and it is not by DC or Marvel or any of the big companies whatsoever. It is called... what?
I said that's cool.
Yeah, it is called Robin Hood, Robyn Hood. It is a female Robin Hood. It's by Zenoscope Entertainment, written by Pat Shand, and the first 3 volumes of it are basically they take the Robin Hood legend we all know and turn it on its head. There are things that, like, Little John is there, Will Scarlet is there, the sheriff is there, Prince John is... Like, all the stuff we normally know from a Robin Hood story is there, but then they twist it and turn it, and, oh, it's just so good. I just cannot recommend it enough. Next month inside the Pullback, I'm going to be doing a full month covering the first, I think, pretty much the first entire arc before the current ongoing had started. Absolutely love it. Ladies and gentlemen, go check this out. If you want something refreshing, something that isn't rehashed, something that's going to make you think, every single time, and just the art is beautiful. Absolutely loving Robin Hood from Xenoscope Entertainment.
As for myself, for what's new, I've been getting over a wicked cold for like the past week and a half. The cough is finally starting to go away, which is nice because, oh my god, I've almost had like 3 asthma attacks with this, and just, man, you don't know fear until you can't breathe. So yeah, that sucked. Other than that, though, I finished playing through the Mass Effect trilogy because I'm doing something for Terrible Warriors, where we're doing a Mass Effect role-playing game.
Nice.
So I've been doing that. I'm reading the Mass Effect comics. I'm not going to get a chance to power through the novels, but I got a pretty cool idea to set my game between Mass Effect 2 and 3, so that's pretty neat. Also, been reading a lot of my older Pathfinder stuff, which is the other role-playing game. I actually play in a group at my local comic book store. Basically, I've now been nicknamed Shrek because I'm a half-orc and I kill things, so all I need is a friggin' donkey to hang out with me. What else? It's ridiculous.
No. Technically, you already have everything to be in the Shrek universe. You've got your wife, and you've got Double D. Double D can be your Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, he's that lippy, so if that would work. Other than that, this week I've kind of discovered that me trying to start a new TV series is a monumental effort. I have the first 2 seasons of Game of Thrones. And I decided this week, you know what? I'm going to sit down and watch Game of Thrones. I'm finally going to see what it's all about. Guess how long I got into the first episode before I turned it off to watch something else?
10
Take a guess.
2 minutes.
10 minutes?
2.
20 seconds. I'm like, I'm not feeling this tonight. I'm going to watch Battlestar Galactica. So, I've decided, I never did finish the original Battlestar, so I figure I'll watch everything. And then if I don't watch Game of Thrones, at least what I have to do 50 push-ups or something. So, I'm going to do it just after I do something else for some reason. So, I finally want to see what the hell people are talking about. I've been putting it off for years, so it's about that time. And that's what's new with me.
Awesome. So, really quickly, we'll go take a break, and we'll come back after the clip.
But like you said, he shoots all around Michigan.
When David Rembisa teaches his media class at Mott Community College, he usually tells students to look for film jobs in Michigan, but not anymore.
I'm going to be looking at having these students go to Mott, but also look at them having to transfer to an area where there's more employability in that field.
This comes after a state Senate panel voted 3-2 to end film incentives and shut down the Michigan Film Office.
I think it's awful.
Rembisa says ending incentives limits opportunities for students like Guy Courts.
If large budget films are not coming to the state, then the people that are working in this program, the people that are learning this type of material are going to leave the state.
But the legislation's sponsor, Representative Dan Lauer, saying in this YouTube video, Michigan's film incentive program has failed.
For every dollar we spend, we only get 10 cents back. It's not time to just say cut to this subsidy. It's time to close the curtains once and for all.
We're going to be the only state in all the 50 states that doesn't have a film office.
And we're back. So, What would you guys like to talk off the pallet that I dropped on you guys like 10 minutes ago?
So,
let me see.
is it too soon to make a joke about a certain film because Tron 3 got de-resed really fast?
It disappoints me at a level I can't quite describe. But you know what? Someone mentioned this to me today. The reason why Tron 3 got shit-canned is probably because Tomorrowland bombed.
But that's Tomorrowland.
But that's Tomorrowland. That has
Hold on. Let me explain why and how. They put so much money into marketing and so much money into filming it that they couldn't... they haven't made their money back yet, or at least I don't think so. I think they made like $170 million domestic. But they're losing money on it. Probably as bad as the Lone Ranger from a couple of years ago. Which means Disney's like, you know what, maybe live action just isn't working out for us. So maybe we'll go back to animated, because we never seem to fuck up there.
Okay,
Plus, according to what I've heard, the script for Tron 3 was garbage.
Well, if that's the case, they could have... there needs to be Tron something in the universe now that, and I know not a lot of people fully enjoy Legacy as much as I do, but there needs to be something. They could
Legacy
have...
was a bitchin' soundtrack.
Yeah, they could have kept Uprising going, I
really wish they did.
Or they could start a new animated series and take whatever you were going to do. See, this is what they need to do. They need to take that Blu-ray feature that was on the Tron Legacy Blu-ray the next day, or whatever the hell it was called. Take that part of the story, center that as the plot of the beginning part of a new animated series, and then go off from there.
Or maybe put it in a comic book or something.
Something.
But yeah, because I agree. I'd like to see how that story ends. I mean, Tron Legacy, it isn't a terrible ending to the franchise, but it's certainly an unsatisfying one.
Well, I just want to know what happens to the characters at the end. I mean, because the son and
Aura.
Yeah, get out of the grid, but I want to know what happens to his dad and his digital clone.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be nice to see what happened in, the grid a month, a year, 10 years later.
And they hinted at what the hell, Ra's al Ghul's son.
Oh, right,
the Scarecrow.
They hinted at the Master Control program still being around or something, so it would have been nice to see how that ended, but I guess if Disney's losing money doing live action, I don't blame them. But then again, they have Marvel and Star Wars to keep their profits super high. So it's not like their end of the year is going to suck. But it's definitely going to be a black mark on it by saying Tomorrowland didn't do so well, so we canceled Tron 3.
Yeah, but see the thing is how can Disney not be how can they not?
Because appealing to the hardcore fan sometimes is not the most profitable move.
Okay.
Which I can understand.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that. Then why the hell was Maleficent and Cinderella made? I mean, come on now.
Because you need female-centric movies, too. Female
No,
audiences.
I agree with that, but why do you need a female-centric movie based on an old animated film? Why not create a female-centric movie that is new and fresh? And
maybe that's part of it, too, because I think Maleficent, it did well enough at the box office in terms of selling, but I don't think it was super critically well received. As for Cinderella, I think that bombed too, because I don't remember anybody talking about it after the first week that it was out. Fuck, I forgot that came out this year. And that shitty marketing for one. But yeah, I mean, I guess Disney's been stung, ever since The Lone Ranger bombed, John Carter of Mars bombed. It's not a good time to be making movies if you're Disney. I'm actually really surprised they haven't gone back to the well and tried doing, the Mighty Ducks again or something. Actually, really surprised they haven't done that yet.
Give it time.
Well, yeah. I mean, technically, if they really wanted to do the Mighty Ducks again, you could have Matt and Foggy go out to L.A. in season 3 of Daredevil.
I would hope that they give him a cameo at least. But yeah, like I guess for Disney, stick with what you know because live action isn't doing so well now. I know they're supposed to make a screen version of Wicked, and I want to say Disney's involved in that, but I'm not 100% sure.
For those that may not know, Wicked is the play about the Wicked Witch of the West and East and the sisters and all that.
Yeah,
It's essentially
it's supposed to be pretty badass.
Yeah, I've heard it's supposed to be pretty badass. I'd love to see it, but I just never have.
Say I'm trying to think if it's. I think it's still on Broadway. I know it's not in Toronto, but we did have like it was here in Toronto for like a little while. But anyway, but yeah, I guess for Disney. Well, I guess we'll kind of see what happens because I know they're still filming Pirates 5. So I wonder if that will be kind of a test to see if they'll still keep going with live action. If Pirates 5 doesn't do amazing, because Pirates 4 I think did okay, but it wasn't as good as the first 2.
Yeah. Steve has another thing down here. Since we're talking about Disney, I think it's relevant to bring this up here. Is there a Disney TV show that we want to see revived, and which one would it be?
I can think of 2 immediately. I would love to see them bring back DuckTales, or not DuckTales, because they're already doing that. Darkwing Duck. Superhero shows right now are so hot. And I would love to see them do Chippendale's Rescue Rangers. Like, those would be so easy to do now, and you could actually have them be more high action as opposed to kind of goofy. Like, I don't know, I mean, kind of give Darkwing Duck more of an, I'm not saying make him freaking Batman, but you can maybe put a little more Kim Possible in there, you know what I mean, maybe really action oriented. Or with Chippendale's Rescue Rangers, I just want to hear what a new theme song would sound like. Honestly, like, there's the extended version of the theme song out on YouTube. And I'd love to see a group like Kirby Crackle, like, cover that or something. Or, like, one of, like, the big, like, kind of nerd groups. Yeah, those would be my 2 picks. I guess an honorable mention, maybe Goof Troop, and maybe have Max looking after his son and have Grandpa Goofy.
That could be cool.
That'd be interesting. If only when I interviewed Jason Marsden, he would have done Max's voice for me, but sadly he didn't. No, you know, Disney. Well, I don't know so much Disney, but you know, the Muppets are always doing these little things. I wish Disney would do some little, you know, like YouTube-based content, like what the Muppets do, just every now and then. But like what you're saying with Max and Goofy, I think that would be cool. Honestly, for me, because I've been watching all the reruns and DVRing most of the show, honestly, I want to see Kim Possible have a season 5. There were rumors, but I don't think any of them have actually come true.
What about you, man?
I would love to see... I have to agree, I'd love to see Darkwing Duck return. Just because it was such a great show, and with DuckTales being around, there's no reason why they couldn't.
Well, that's why I'm kind of hoping they do an expanded, God, I hate saying this, like a Duck universe. At least give them like a one-off or something.
Well, I mean,
or
you could still have
in the DuckTales universe.
Well, you could still have. Well, I mean, they did cross over quite a bit.
Oh, right, because Launchpad. That's right.
Yep, because Launchpad was the Launchpad for both. He actually started out in DuckTales, I think, and then they moved him. But then there's no reason why you couldn't have them do that, or have, you know, Chip and Dale or Tailspin or any of those other ones kind of tie in. The other show I would pick would be Gargoyles.
Yes! Oh my... Oh, new Gargoyles could be so awesome.
The only show that Disney, like, pretends doesn't exist.
Which is so dumb, because it's... Actually, aren't they making, like, a live-action Gargoyles movie in, like, a couple years?
I
remember
haven't heard
reading that, but I don't know whether it was just someone saying yes or not. My God, I never even thought about that, especially if you could get the original voice cast back. I mean, it's not like Frakes is doing much right now. And Keith David, my God, you have to bring him back as freaking Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
Voice of the Navy and fucking Spawn himself.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm serious. That guy's voice, I could only wish to have a voice that epic. Can you imagine having Spawn order a pizza? I don't know. I'm just kind of fanboying now, but just still, I love Keith David.
He does, yeah. Keith David is amazing. He does.
He's in Mass Effect.
Yep, as Anderson.
Yep, Admiral Anderson.
He does. He was in. Oh, I'm trying to think of this. It was a Justice League episode. Hearts and Minds, parts 1 and 2. He plays. He plays Despero, and
that's a good pick.
His voice in that is simply amazing. The funny thing is, I honestly think the very first time I ever heard his voice or saw him was as one of the military advisors on Armageddon. In the film Armageddon, he's in that too.
First time I ever saw Keith David was, it was actually the Spawn animated series by HBO back in the 90s. I saw that before I saw Gargoyles.
Yeah. The thing with the Armageddon reference that really kills me is one of the lines he has in that, I wouldn't trust these retards with a potato gun.
I kind of want to dump that into Mass Effect as like a really inappropriate moment. Commander Shepard, I wouldn't trust these retards with a potato gun.
That would be hilarious having him say that. I could still picture that because
someone please make a clip.
That whole game is like that though. Like there's elements where you're just like, you gotta be shit, man. You just want to bitch slap somebody in the game.
So there's a.
I'm sorry, Blanchard. Go ahead.
There's a new Batman on the block.
I've heard this. Tell me this is not as stupid as I've heard.
It's actually very refreshing. It's the first thing Scott Snyder has done in 5 years that I'm actually looking forward to. Okay, so
he's like RoboCop Batman now or something.
It's actually nicer than that.
Yeah. So from issue 35 to 40 was Scott Snyder's 6-part Endgame arc. And spoilers for anyone who hasn't read it, sorry, I'm just going to say it. The crux of the ending is essentially Bruce Wayne dies. And we all know about quote-unquote comic book death. No one's actually dead forever, except for Uncle Ben in the regular universe at least.
Yeah, at least the Wayne parents get to live in one universe.
True.
That's pretty messed up.
So, at issue 40, Bruce Wayne dies. Issue 41, it picks it up like the series just completely starts over. I just read this, like, I don't know, a day ago or so, because it came out, it came out this week, as this was recorded. I just read this, and I'm really digging it. I think it's interesting. I think it's kind of cool. There's stuff in there where they go through the whole what the suit is going to look like, and they go through different variations of Batman's suits over the years. It not necessarily. I know everyone's saying, and I've said this, that it's a RoboCop Batman. It's not really a RoboCop looking Batman. It's more of like, holy shit, Batman made an Ed 209 suit. I'm digging it. And I have not been the biggest fan of Scott Snyder's run. I loved Court of Owls. Death of the Family was 0 year. I could completely do without. And Endgame was damn good. So.
Yeah, I because I downloaded the images because I can't find the article anymore. There's a part where it shows Gordon getting out of the back saying, somebody's telling him, "You'll be a new Batman if you do this, Jim." So it's not totally retconning it. It's recognizing that Batman's dead, but that he's going to take over the mantle.
Yeah. And
the helmet, like the mask and everything, it's the same as what Bruce wears. It's just that the rest of the suit is different. It goes to the point of it's almost Batman Beyond-esque, but it's completely jet black, and it connects to the cowl. There is no cape. He's got a taser that's attached to a gun holster that's around his leg. And then he's got a bat symbol that's almost reminiscent of like a Stephanie Brown Batgirl emblem. It's black with yellow outline.
Yeah, when you said there is no cape, all as I can hear in my head is Edna from Incredibles. No capes!
I'm just looking up an image of this. I've got to see this.
It's pretty interesting.
All right, well, you're going to get my live reaction in about 30 seconds here. All right, let's see what we got. We have... God damn it, give me the... No, I don't need fucking Gary Oldman. Okay.
Wrong Commissioner Gordon.
Okay, what the fuck?
And that's his initial reaction, folks.
What the Christ? He looks like he's on a fucking Robotech. Why does he have rocket launchers?
Because the company that's putting this on is called Powers International, which I can only assume it is...
It's Derek Powers.
Yeah. It's
You know
Derek
what the
Powers.
best part about this costume is? His massive codpiece.
You would. You know,
my
that's the
God.
first thing you would go to is the friggin' cod
No,
piece.
the first thing I went to is rocket launchers. Then I went to the codpiece. Oh my God. Wow. And the image I've got is looking at the new Superman as well. God, he looks like a fucking idiot. What happened?
I'm not a fan of the new Superman.
You used to be cool.
Now he's snot.
Oh my God. I'm Batman with a codpiece and rocket launchers. Don't fuck with me, son. Jesus. They're so done.
Yeah, but you
This
get...
is why I don't read comics anymore, but it does look actually pretty good having Gordon as opposed to having like Azrael Batman.
See, that design, it looks like it'd be a cool toy. Like, it doesn't look like a bat, it looks like a toy. Whereas the Azrael Batman, that was like the 90s, like, jizzing all over your face. At least it looked deadly. This, like I said, looks like if Batman secretly joined the Power Rangers or something. I don't know, man. What happened to comics, man?
Politically correctness attacked it.
Yeah. I guess now we've
And that's
gone...
all I'm going to say.
Oh, man. Oh, actually, speaking of political correctness this week...
Uh-oh.
This really sucks. Because I really used to like this artist, and I can't get behind what he's saying right now. The artist is John Byrne, the guy who did, like, X-Men Days of Future Past, made She-Hulk cool and all this shit. He went on, I guess this was on, like, his forum, or one of the forums that he's known to frequent. And he started saying all this ass-backwards retarded shit about transgendered people and how they're mentally ill and they're, like, pedophiles or something. I'm thinking, whoa, dude, shut your mouth! You can't say that!
What an asshole.
I'm like, dude, like, no! Stop being a dick! Please stop now!
That's almost as bad as that Ooey Bowl or Yui Bowl.
Oh my God, can we talk about that for a minute?
Did no one learn anything from Caitlyn Jenner? I mean, come on. You know, you hide your life for 65 years or so. You know, I mean... But go ahead.
But yeah, like,
Mr. Bowl.
Mr. Bowl. I love how he's... Okay, so he's tried 3 times, I think, to get funding for this movie called Rampage 3. which evidently the first Rampage is supposed to be halfway decent. Actually, looking at it on Netflix, it's actually got really good star ratings, so I'll check it out. But anyway, he goes on this racist rant. He's like, you want to be like Indian fucking supermodels at Cannes. You want to be this Jew-looking motherfucker. And I'm like, oh my god. But then the one video he released earlier this week, he's like, you know what? Fuck you and fuck Hollywood. You don't want to give me crowdfunding? Fuck you. I have enough money to play golf until I die. And it was like, I'm like, oh my god, dude. Like, you're not just burning the bridges, you're tearing them apart at the molecular level. Like, it's, like, he goes on rants, and it was just, I mean, I thought Uwe Boll was crazy before. Now I'm sure he's certifiably batshit insane.
See, people like that are people that I would never support just on principle alone for being an asshole.
Like, here's the thing. I like his movies because they're so bad they're enjoyable. Like, he's more or less he's like a modern Ed Wood, but he's a prick. Like,
yeah, see, I don't watch movies like the garbage that he puts out. 2, I don't, like, if somebody's that much of an asshole, like, I can't respect him enough to even, like, give them the satisfaction of a dollar amount.
Yeah, like, I just can't believe, though, like, he even tells people who supported him to go fuck themselves. I'm thinking, wow, dude, like, that's so not the way to go about it. And I thought people like Tommy Wiseau were fucking delusional. They got nothing on this guy.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious that this guy is, like, getting so much press for being an ass, but, like, I hope that it crashes and burns and he never makes another film.
It's terrible because, honestly, he mostly does video game movies, but he does them in Germany as a tax shelter. He's made Blood Rain, he did House of the Dead 1 and 2, Far Cry, which actually stars the guys from Screw Attack, Blood Rain, he did a movie with Postal with the Fargus from A Christmas Story, Zach something or other.
Scott Farkas?
Scott Farkas, yeah, so he did that. Postal was actually kind of funny. He did In the Name of the King. Like, he gets all these big-name actors to come fucking hang out with him. And his movies they're such shit. One of the ones he did, which is notoriously bad, was Alone in the Dark, based upon the Atari series of games. And it starred Christian Slater, which is okay, and Tara Reid, who I'm pretty sure was reading her lines off her arm in really badly written pen. Because she's supposed to play this scientist, but she sounds like such a total fucking airhead. Like, I'm pretty sure she was high most of that time. But I don't know, man. Just the fact that a guy like that can make films in Hollywood, and yet there are legitimate directors who struggle to get film budgets, blows my mind. I think the last movie he had in theaters, I think In the Name of the King was the last one that had a wide release here in North America. And that was like 2006, maybe 7.
Some people just need to be kicked out of Hollywood.
You know what? It is so true, because there's so many talented young directors who turn to things like crowdfunding to get stuff made, and ultimately, sometimes then they make a big splash and good things happen. Like, ultimately, I would love to give the budgets of all the Uwe Boll movies and give it to the guy who made Kung Fury. Here's $30 million. Do something really awesome. Yeah. And he probably would kick the shit out of this stuff.
Or here's $30 million. Make a couple films.
Yeah, exactly. Like, here, you know how to work with small stuff. Make a bunch of little ones. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it sucks because there are so many directors in Hollywood that they don't deserve what they're given, and it's got to be discouraging for kids going through film school saying, so Uwe Boll and Tommy Wiseau can get work, but I have to struggle as a PA for X amount of years. This ain't right.
Well, yeah, that basically ties into our class.
I was going to say, Steve, thoughts?
It's true, though. I mean, shit, we're going to be shooting a movie this summer. I'm the editor, which that's my choice.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't want to write and direct
I do
it.
not envy you. Editing is the worst part of doing film.
You know, you say that, but I don't have to deal with anybody.
Well, you'd have to deal with the director and
That's it.
not even the guy who's in charge of cinematography. You don't have to talk with.
The DP?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to deal with him.
I'm surprised.
The director has to deal with him. I'm in charge of sound, and I'm in charge of editing the overall project. I don't have to deal with that fucktard, because honestly, he's... I say that in a nice way.
Polite fucktard.
But
I don't think there's a nice way you
let
can...
me put it this way. This guy, he's good at what he does, but when he just doesn't get a concept that you're trying to relay to him, he makes it 10 times more complicated than it has to be. And so it infuriates me because like I have OCD when it comes to like control and editing and just things in general that I know I can do better than somebody else. If I don't know how to do something better than somebody else, I don't care if they do it, because then that means I don't have to mess with it and I don't have to feel bad about not doing well on it because I didn't do it. But this guy drives me up a wall, and thankfully, I've worked with the guy that's the director and the writer of the film. And mind you, it's a 10-minute student film that's going to go to, film festivals and everything else. So, I mean, we haven't even started shooting yet. It's still, I've had classes with this guy before, so I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm. But it just, I would much rather edit than have to deal with all the other BS that's behind the scenes.
Oh, well, Steve, like I said, since the film incentives are drying up there, I'm trying to think where the hell they even shoot a lot of TV in the States.
They shoot a lot of stuff in Georgia now.
Yeah, dude, you should work on The Walking Dead.
You know that they're shooting Civil War down there, right?
Yeah, but you won't be done school by the time it's still filming. But then again,
it doesn't matter. You actually don't. You just need to know somebody to get you into the business. You don't actually have to.
I know a lot of people up here in the Canadian end of it, so I'll let you know if I ever hear anything.
That was the first thing I said when you said there's not a, where else could you go with a lot of film, where they shoot a lot of TV shows. First thing I said was Vancouver. Well,
yeah,
Vancouver,
Toronto,
Supernatural.
Montreal.
Yeah.
Supernatural. I'd want to work on The Flash.
Shall we get this one elephant?
There's an elephant
thing?
Out of the room.
Are you talking about?
He is Vigo.
Are you talking about who?
He is Vigo.
What are you talking about?
The first thing I thought of when I saw this Thor is the secretary news is, no, he can't be the secretary. He is Vigo's son, because he could so play a Vigo, an updated version of Vigo from Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, I don't remember enough about Ghostbusters 2 to even get that reference. So.
I think that's actually kind of clever casting Chris Hemsworth as that. If I did have to pick someone else, I would have picked either him or Channing Tatum. But that's not a bad choice, though, all things considered. So, I don't know. The more I hear about the Ghostbusters reboot, the more I'm actually getting a little bit more excited for it. I think it starts shooting in like 2 or 3 weeks, doesn't it?
I believe so. And they actually had to write him a bigger part so he would actually be a part of the movie.
So, I don't know. Maybe it'll be better than people think. I'm really hoping it is. Because Ghostbusters is probably one of the few things I'll go to opening day. I didn't even go to opening day for Age of Ultron. I'll go to opening day for Ghostbusters, and I'll go for opening day for Star Wars.
One of the saving graces for Ghostbusters, and people may give me shit for it, despite the fact that everybody's flipping out that it's all female cast, they're all of them but one are Saturday Night Live alumni. Which was pretty much the case from the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have faith in the casting. I mean, I'm more excited to see how Melissa McCarthy pulls it off, because her new movie, Spy, is getting wicked reviews. So, if you give her something to work with, she'll do fucking fantastic.
Well, if you give her a good movie, I mean...
The only reason why that movie is getting good reviews is because it has Jason Statham in it.
I wouldn't say that's the only reason, because McCarthy is funny when you give her something to work with.
Well, when you give her the proper script, like, you don't give her a shit script. If you give her something that they know how to write her and direct her, then she's great. But if you don't know how to work with her, you're not going to be able to.
Yeah, I mean, for every one spy, she gets stuck with 3 or 4 Tammys. You know what I mean? Which fucking sucks, because like I said, she's bloody hilarious. They got to give her something. The only person I wish they could add into the script, if I had to add one piece of casting, I'd love to see them add Kristen Shaw. She's on Bob's Burgers. Her live action stuff, she does a show called Last Man on Earth. And she's funny as hell in that. She would have been a good pick as a receptionist if they wanted to recast the Janine role. But I'm cool with Thor doing that, too.
It'll be a lot funnier, honestly, just for the fact that he'll be more of a straight-laced when they're going to be more of a dur-dur-dur.
Man, you know what I'm really looking forward to? Because that movie comes out next summer, which means in February of next year, we're going to start seeing the toys from this. I cannot wait to see what the new Proton Packs are going to look like. The cosplay for this is going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to seeing what people do, because Ghostbuster cosplay is 9 times out of 10 really cool looking. Not entirely super expensive either, especially if you're really handy. Like, you can build a Proton Pack, I think, for under $500. The most expensive part is the Proton Pack. The flight suit's like maybe $50-$60. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of hyped for it. So I hope by Christmas time we get a trailer. Actually, what's the big Sony movie coming out around Christmas time? Is there anything on our radars?
I think the only big movie is like Star Wars, really.
You know what? I bet you we'll get first trailer Super Bowl. Super Bowl or Star Wars, one or the other. In which case, like I said, it's going to be so cool.
I can see that.
Now, you've got this here, Steven, our little paste bin of love here. What's the deal with Dumb and Dumber 3? Because if there ever was a bad idea, I think that's it.
Somebody thought it was cool to interview him in Michigan about it, because he's from Michigan. They were talking about his music, and then there was talk of him being okay with doing another Dumb and Dumber.
For the love of Christ, no.
Which I'm kind of. I mean, he said there hasn't been any talk about doing it one, but he says it wouldn't surprise me if him and Jim Carrey were in their 70s and got a phone call to come back and play it again.
See, the problem with Dumb and Dumber 2 is the movie was about 15 years too late. If you put that out within the first 7 years after the first one, I think it would have been more successful.
When was the first?
Nobody remembered it.
When did the first one come out? 95 or
94, I think.
Yep, 94. Same year as Ace Ventura 2.
Really? That was
Ace Ventura.
94? Hey, you know what? I would have been okay with another Ace Ventura movie.
A third one that didn't
want another Ace Ventura just to kind of tie it up.
Yeah, a third one that didn't deal with bat shit, quite literally.
What the hell could have Ace Ventura done? I don't know, maybe go save the polar bears or something. You know
what they did, right? They had the kid of Ace Ventura basically in another movie. Like, they did Ace Ventura Jr. after Ace Ventura 2.
Yeah.
What?
And then they had this kid play Ace Ventura's son, and they had this other lady, that basically the Courtney Cox type character that, except she works at the zoo. And
you're not making this up.
I'm not, no.
Oh my
and then there's
God.
another, he's in his high school, he goes into a locker, and there's like this nerdy guy that's like the one that Ace met in the first film that he talked to. And it literally goes through that whole thing, and then they're saying that, because they have Ace Ventura's grandpa there, which is his dad, and they all have the same stupid haircut or hairdo.
Oh my god.
And they reference him saying, yeah, he went to go save an animal on the Bermuda Triangle and hasn't been heard from since.
Jesus.
But okay, no.
So we can get Ace Ventura Jr. in Uwe Boll movies, yet I can't get a decent motherfucker.
Okay. Can you imagine though, guys? Can you imagine if an Ace Ventura 3, like a proper Ace Ventura 3, happened within the next 3 years? Imagine what kind of shenanigans Carrie could be up to with the whole age of technology we live in now. The pet detective job would change dramatically.
And maybe that would be the whole crux of the movie. He'd be like, where's your fancy tracking chip now? Sort of thing.
It would be better than what we got in Dumb and Dumber 2.
I think, honestly, that they could pull off an Ace Ventura 3 better than they could...
A Dumb and Dumber 3?
Than a Dumb and Dumber 3.
You had the right guy directing it and writing it, yeah, I could totally see that.
It's just, I'm pretty much with you guys on that one.
That's depressing as all shit. That's all I gotta say about that, man. Ace Ventura Jr. and Uwe Boll. My god.
Alrighty. Let's skip to some good stuff. What are your guys' thoughts on ReBoot?
It gets a reboot.
About time. About friggin' time. A crossover with Tron and all will be forgiven.
That'll never happen.
Man, Bob versus Tron would be so cool.
No, Bob versus Master Control.
That's what they need to do for, like, Screw Attack's Death Battle. Have Bob the Guardian versus Tron.
You realize Megabyte's coming back, right?
Oh.
Who are they going to get to voice him, though?
I don't know, because I think it's kind of messed up that that Tony J won't be... Because, I mean, obviously, the man sadly passed away years ago, but I think it's kind of messed up that, you know, they're going to have the character, or at least not modify him. They're saying, oh, he's going to have a major upgrade, and in the promo image that they actually show, it's got this new, like, kind of translucent Guardian that you can almost see through on the image, and in the reflection in the mask, it's got a Megabyte mask. Like, it looks like Megabyte, but it's altered. Like, the nose isn't there, and the eyes are like almost like Megatron's, like, red slit eyes instead of the eyeballs. And then they kind of, like, squared off the jaw a little bit more, but it's one of the websites found it. I think it was the Mary Sue or whatever, kind of circled it and zoomed in on the mask and then showed it side by side with Megabyte, and it does look like Megabyte. I would think that they should change him to, like, Gigabyte or Terabyte now, but as his upgrade. But if they're gonna go with somebody, either get somebody that's gonna sound alike, or, you know, change him enough to where, you know, they can explain a little bit, you know, deeper kind of voice, or hell, get Beast Wars Megatron back.
Well, I don't...
And just deepen it.
Yeah,
Put a little bit different spin on it, but he has the right tone to hit close enough to that.
I would say Tim Curry, but evidently he's not speaking so well these days.
That's why I said get David Kaye.
Took my answer, you asshat. I was going to say...
because he would have been... Because he could have done, like, ha, I was once Kilocon, now I'm Megabyte. That would have been an awesome kind of cross there, but...
Well, and the funny thing is him and Tony J were both in Mighty Max.
Yeah.
And see,
as, like, hero and villain. So, I mean, because he was Skullmaster. Not Tony J, but he was the foul of
Wizard guy?
Virgil.
Yeah.
He was Virgil, and then Skullmaster was Tim Curry.
Man, that would have been cool, though. Man, I just hope we get it super soon, because I know they've been talking about a reboot thing for, like, 10 years or something.
I've been following it. They were supposed to come out with a movie in the early 2000s. But what happened is Rainmaker bought out Mainframe.
Yeah.
Which is around the time that Beast Machines went off the air, too. It was about the same time. But the funny thing is Rainmaker has revived the Mainframe Entertainment division to handle all of their TV stuff, which is what it used to do anyhow.
Yeah.
And then they're going to, from what I've read, they're going to have these 4 kids training to be guardians and having to use, technology focus and team building and all this other crap. And they're going to also go back to some of the older characters, like your Enzo, your
Andre,
Dot,
and all that.
And Megabyte. Some of the other characters are going to show up, and it's remains to be seen how in depth that's going to be. But there's a ruthless hacker known only as the Sorcerer, bent on ruling the world by controlling cyberspace. And there's Vera, the last surviving cyber being from the original Guardian program, which means Bob's probably dead.
That sucks.
But there's nothing to say that they can't revive him.
Yeah.
It is a computer world, and it's just ones and zeros. He could be backed up on a floppy. Cool. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the show. I think now, actually, it makes it for the perfect time to bring rebooting mainframe to the light of day.
It's going to be awesome. I'm so looking forward to it. Another thing that you included in our little conversation box here, I just started reading about this. Oculus Rift and Xbox One. Not gonna lie, nerd boner. Because if Oculus Rift supports Xbox to Windows streaming, I could play GTA 5 in VR. Holy shit, is that going to be so cool. Or playing Call of Duty like that. Obviously, I can't emulate the exo movements, but the possibilities for that, just amazing. Like, I'm really hyped for this. Like, I'm just trying to think of other... Forza with Oculus Rift would be so cool. Halo 5 when that comes out later on this year. Like, there's... Like, it's gonna be just amazing if it gets pulled off right. So, it's cool how they're going to include the Xbox One controller with it. And like I said, it'll probably support Xbox to Windows PC streaming because Windows 10 comes out in, like, July, I think. Which I think everybody gets for free. I'm not sure whether mine is or not. I'm on Windows 7 Professional, so I'm not sure whether I get it.
Anybody with Windows 7, 8, 8.1 gets it for free.
The thing
gets
is,
10 for free.
My computer buddy, little Brandon, he's like an electrical engineer and pretty much my PC guy. Like, I consider his word to be the word of God. He's like, don't do it. It's a trap. I'm so worried about all my old programs not working.
Well, I'll let you know, because what I'm going to do is upgrade my Windows 8.1 machine first.
Yeah.
And then if that... Because I have all the same software installed on both PCs. I have Windows 7 on my desktop. And if it works out fine on that, then I will be upgrading my Windows 7. What I would do is register for the Windows 10 and then wait a couple months.
And then see if it's stable.
And then get it after it's been out a couple months. I would wait until like maybe October to upgrade, but actually register for it now.
Yeah,
that way
register.
You have your place in line. Because that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, because then they'll have some of the bugs worked out, because it does seem like they're trying to rush it.
Yeah, like that's what I'm mostly afraid of, is them rushing it and screwing it up.
And we all know that, when they do that, it does bomb. But I also have confidence in this Windows copy too at the same time, because I think because it's going to be gradually updated as it goes, more consistently, more service packs kind of thing that keep patching it and keeping it going, rather than having to buy new copies. I think that I have more enthusiasm for it in that regard. Plus, it means I don't have to buy a copy of Windows again until they
Windows
phase
15
out.
Or Windows.
Windows.
I think the only OS I've ever bought, because I've always got it free with my computer, is I think Windows 98 SE. I think I bought. I want to say I bought a copy of XP when I bought a new laptop. Although my favorite operating system of all time is probably Windows 2000 NT. I could make that OS dance. Man, I miss those days. To think those days were 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how far technology has come. It really is.
Oh, I know. It's great.
It's kind of like a more recent episode of Girl Meets World where Corey's like, he's teaching the class about time capsules, and he's like, 15 years. Wow, that's now. We were going to see what we turned out to be like. And the next scene is he goes home to Topanga, and she said the first thing she says to him is, "Tell me we're not driving to Philadelphia to dig up stuff from 15 years ago."
And he's like, "I got the shovel."
Let me see. So, what did you think about the Arkham Knight stuff you've seen recently with the watching Neil Patrick Harris play it?
I think it's funny because they're all acting in the game.
I'm looking forward to it more and more now. I actually should have my copy probably next week because the embargo's up next Friday, I think. So I'm really hoping it doesn't suck.
I'm blacklisting it from my playlist. Not that I don't want to play it. I just refuse to spend the amount of money it is to get the entire game.
Yeah,
Which Mike and I, Powers and I had talked about it last week, but it's total horseshit how they're playing the DLC and add-on for this game.
Well, there's another game that's getting more microtransactions, which I think is kind of bullshit too. People have been playing a preview build of Metal Gear Solid 5, which I'm oddly enough placing my pre-order for tomorrow. Turns out there's like a shit ton of microtransactions in it. No one knows what they do yet because obviously NDAs and the game's not done yet. But yeah, I'm not liking this trend where you get the game and then you get other parts later. I don't know. I'm okay with it for certain games like, say, Call of Duty, where they give you new maps and shit. But if certain content is already done, it should be included. But then again, we've talked about this to death before. I don't know. I'm hoping it's a good game to end the like series on. I'd like to see Rocksteady do another DC hero if they could. I want a really good Green Lantern game, but I just don't see that happening.
Honestly, I think that they could do a decent like
or Superman
Arrow and Flash game.
Yeah. And they could even set it inside the current kind of universe sort of thing. Man, if they could
that way, if they want to have Batman pop in with Kevin Conroy, they can.
That'd be pretty awesome. And if you had it like open world, like Grand Theft Auto or something like that, that could be pretty cool. Yeah, because as the Arrow, you could swing around, the Flash can run around. That could be actually kind of cool if they could pull it off right. But I guess that's the $1 million question: is can they do it? But I guess we'll kind of wait and see. I mean, like I said, I'm hoping Arkham Knight is as awesome as I think. I'm one of those guys that will buy all the content anyway, which, to my ever shame, I don't like supporting that type of business model, but at the same time, I like what I like and I want it now.
Well, see, I like what I like, but I also have to buy it for the PC because I don't have an Xbox One or a PS4.
Yeah.
Nor can I afford it. So to me, to spend that kind of money on a game is ridiculous to me. So like I'll wait a couple years and I'll play it once there's a Game of the Year edition and I can buy the entire game for $20.
Yeah.
Which sounds kind of like it. I mean, it's kind of bullshit on my part too for not spending it to support the developers. But if they didn't charge so much and kind of play this, you have to upgrade stuff as you go, in the game, I wouldn't feel like I'm being gypped, and I would probably buy the game, for Black Friday and then just buy the season pass.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do either because I'm not going to support this kind of behavior for them.
And it's unfortunate that there aren't nearly enough people who think like that for it to make a difference, because the game's going to probably be one of the best selling of the year, without a doubt. My guess is if it's as good as I've heard, it'll probably be in the top 3 this year for Game of the Year. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of this whole piecemeal DLC thing. But then again, I'm the same guy who will spend $20 on supply drops for Call of Duty. So I'm just as bad. However, in other happier news for gaming stuff, Capcom is going to put out a Mega Man Anniversary Collection for the I think it's for the Wii U and the 3DS, or it's maybe just 3DS. But either way, it's like $15, and you get the first 6 NES games and some extra content. That's not bad. I thought that was actually kind of nice, and that's Capcom at least showing a little bit of love towards the Blue Bomber, which E3 next week. I only care about 3 words. Mass Effect 4. Everything else, do not a fuck give. Okay.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Maybe.
I'm waiting for your fanboy banter on Mass Effect 4 because I like the series. They need to make a movie of that.
Yeah. They made an anime which takes place between between Mass Effect 2 and 3.
Yeah, I'll probably catch that after I start playing 1 again, now that I realize that if you play 1, 2, and 3 in order, then the story actually builds better.
Oh yeah, like there's so
from
many
the save
little
games,
things.
Which I discovered talking to you after the fact. And
You'll love it, man. Once you go through all 3, you're like, wow, that was awesome. Although,
I am playing.
You do need to download the extended cut.
Yeah, I did finish Mass Effect 3 though. I did beat it the other day. I stayed up till way too late, like every couple of nights. I just couldn't put it down. And then I started, after I beat that, I needed a little bit break of that type of game, so I started playing Deadpool, which I just got.
I have it, and I haven't played it yet. It's sitting on my shelf.
It's like playing the old like X-Men Origins, like Wolverine type game that came out years ago.
Which was surprisingly way better than the movie.
Yeah, and it's that type of gameplay, but it's a lot better. Plus, you have the snarky remarks of Deadpool through the entire game. To the point of, like, you get to bitch slap Wolverine, who's unconscious at a point, and it just says, press A to slap or B to walk away and give up. And, like, I just kept slapping him. He's like, wake up, you bitch! And, like, just starts, keep hitting him, and he's like, well, it looks like I'm on my own. And then just a lot of the stuff that goes on in the game is actually really fun. I don't foresee me having long before I beat that game, only because it's such a smaller universe.
There's one Marvel game that has never, I don't think, and Mike can correct me on this, has never really gotten a proper reimagining for the modern gaming, and that is Spider-Man and the X-Men. I used to love the hell out of that game.
That game was so fucking cheap and hard, but I love it too, honestly. like those storm stages, fuck those. But yeah, there hasn't been a proper action-y adventure one. The closest that it ever got, recently, I guess you could count the Marvel Alliance games.
Or Shattered
One that was more platformy, though, ish.
Yeah.
Would be X-Men Destiny.
Or Shattered
the last
Dimensions.
game put out by Silicon Knights.
Yeah.
Which was a terrible, terrible mistake.
Or Shattered Dimensions.
You know what? Shattered Dimensions actually wasn't half bad. There's actually been quite a number of really good Spider-Man games in the last couple of years. I really like Shattered Dimensions and Web of Shadows, but I didn't much care for. I can't remember. It wasn't Shattered Dimensions because that's the one where it's all the different time periods. It's the one where it takes place in like a building. I can't remember what the fuck it is now. It's gonna drive me nuts. Or there's this other Spider-Man game. It had a neat concept, but it pulled off really dumb. Spider-Man Friend or Foe.
Yeah, that's
more meant for kids, I guess.
Yeah, I remember that one.
But yeah, I'd love to see them do another Marvel vs. Capcom game. But I guess we just got the reboot back in 2011, I think it was. So probably be another 5 or 6 years before we see anything out of that. But because the licensing agreement expired between those two companies, I don't know whether they'd ever do it again. But hey, Disney, you like money.
Yeah. You know,
we help you print it.
Yeah. I know this will never happen, but I almost wish we had a DC versus Marvel game in the style of Marvel versus Capcom 2.
I would pay so much money for that. Like, oh my god, I would throw so much money at that.
Because then you could actually answer who would win in a fight between Iron Man and Batman, or
I mean, the closest
Superman
we
and
have,
Captain America.
The closest we have to that now, it's a game called Mugen. It's like an open source game.
Yeah.
It's only for PC, but you can have literally anybody versus anybody. I've seen Goku fight My Little Pony. I've seen Superman beat the hell out of, like, the Naruto characters. Like, you can literally import anybody. Now, some characters are better balanced than others because, you know, the internet. But that's the closest you can get right now. But yeah, I'd love to see a proper licensed version do it. And if I could have a studio do it, if it couldn't be the Capcom people, if you could have the same guys who did Mortal Kombat X and Injustice, get them to do it, the team from NetherRealm, that'd be halfway decent too. But yeah, I'd love to get a good fighting game like that. Because obviously that's my passion. I love fighting games, though I'm no longer as good as I was at Street Fighter 4 now. But hey, Street Fighter 5, like this year, I think, so.
Sweet.
Yeah,
this will be the last thing I bring up because I know Steve wants to kind of close this out. The craziest thing is, we're talking about fighting games. I went over to I literally have a laundromat in my backyard. Like, the place is, I just walk 5 feet and it's right there. They have an original MK2 cabinet with the original Mortal Kombat 2 game in there. I sat there and tried to, I spent like 3 quarters and I sat there and tried to play as Liu Kang. I so cannot do arcade cabinets anymore.
And one of my friends has a Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet. It was given to him as an incentive gift for the company that he used to work for. And I remember playing that game. I used to hustle kids in my local arcade with Mortal Kombat 2 as Melina and Baraka. I'd sucker kids in and say that I suck. And then eventually I'd start betting money. So eventually the bets would get up to like $10, $20 because, you know, you don't go any higher than that, otherwise you'll scare people away. I made a comfortable living in high school with that. Because as Melina, I've got this combo. I can lock you up for 70% and you can't block it. Because I'm such an asshole. Like, I know exactly how many frames you need to block, and I know exactly how many frames I can move quicker than you. So yeah, I'm that dickbag that studies the game too much. But I love old school arcade cabinets. Actually, one of the guys who lives down the street from me, Kevin, we were talking tonight, and he's figuring out a way. He has a board that's 680 arcade games on one circuit board, and he's going to figure out a way to put it inside of an old school Nintendo case or an old school Xbox case. So I can literally carry around an arcade in a backpack. It's going to be so fucking cool. He has one set up at my local comic book store right now, and we've got the original Marvel vs. Capcom on it. We've got Turtles in Time, and we just go down there and just play the hell out of it. It's so cool, and he'll make them to order. So if any of your listeners want literally a legit arcade cabinet for, like, retarded low prices, hit me up. Like, Mike at thisweekingeek.net, I'll put you in contact.
Just don't have Mike Laidman try to move it in and out of your house for you.
Yeah, I'd rather not die.
We'll have to tell that story another time.
Yeah, let's just say my arcade cabinet landed me in the hospital at one point. That sucked. But on the bonus side of that, I had a hot Asian nurse in my house every day for 3 weeks. Totally worth it.
Wait, did you say on the bonus or on the boner side?
Both! Oh my god, she was so hot.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was great.
Literally, man, that was like a fantasy come true, like lady. Just good.
Okay.
Anyhow,
Yeah,
on that note.
Hot Asian nurses.
Alrighty, so with that, anything you guys want to pip out before we go?
I've been podcasting for 6 or 7 years now, and I'm really in some financial need since my mom passed away. My good friend Nicole Hailstorm set up a Fundly page for me. I'll have Steve put the link in there in the AGU post if anyone wants to help me out, because I'm really struggling right now. Mom had no life insurance and all that and everything else, so there's that. Like I said before, Robin Hood month is coming up inside the pull bag. I'm actually working on something for, this is a while down the road, but I'm trying to figure out names that begin with F. And I'm working on something that will be inside the pull bag, but it'll be something that we've never, ever done before, and something GCRN has not covered in, by the time this happens, our 7-year history. So that's going to be interesting. Let's just say we're going to be exiting off the highway. So that's all I got.
For myself, this weekend I should have a review of the Wii U game Splatoon. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at what I have to say. I am working on a botched roll this weekend. I might be recording a pair of them. Jamie and I are recording our E3 predictions show. You might see that later on today in addition to Nerd News. And I got an interview coming up with the people that designed the Pathfinder card game, which is surprisingly badass. So that'll be up in like about a week or two. So other than that, TerribleWarriors.com, always a good time over there. And This Week in Geek.net, you should listen to it because awesome.
Alrighty, and I'm going to be messing with more of the superhero comic thing that we're putting together, and then I'm going to be doing the casting next week with our group for our student film. And then on top of that, next weekend, I'm going to BotCon. For the first time. Not sure how that's going to go, but I'm going.
Have a fucking blast, dude.
I will. I'm not spending any money other than when I have to, so that won't be too difficult.
Yeah, you can just stare longingly at the Frank Welker room.
I plan to. Because, I'm not spending $300 to go. Yeah. Or more than that, actually. Yeah, it was like $800.
Someone,
I'm sad.
I'll have to find the post so you can put it, and I hope it's a public Facebook post, but someone on Facebook...
that's what they invented screenshots for.
Well, I'm saying, I'll have to send you the link so you can link it, but I'm saying that someone on Facebook posted like a total breakdown of the ultimate fan BotCon experience, and this year's costs, if you want everything, is close to basically $4,000.
Wow, that's like Comic-Con levels of bending you over.
Yeah. That's if you, but I'm saying that's if you want everything. You know what I mean? There are ways to get around all that, but
So yeah. So if you'd like to get a hold of us on the show, you can do so in the following ways. You can get a hold of us on the website, geekcastradio.com. You can comment on the episode post there. You can get a hold of us on Twitter at Altered Geek. My Twitter handle is at SCP21, and yours are, sirs.
TFG and Mike.
And at Birdman Dodd on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
What do you put on? Never mind. I don't even want to know.
Oh, what? Instagram?
Yes, never. That's a conversation for another time. I'm sorry, Steve.
Lots of cat pictures. Lots of cat pictures.
I could make a comment about that, but I'm not.
Oh, and I also post pictures of cheeseburgers that have no meat. That's a story for a different time.
I don't know if I want to ask. Alrighty.
One job, McDonald's. One job.
What the hell?
What's a cheesy bun?
So until next time, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks.
One job.